Welcome to another episode of Fandom Thursdays. This is me, Cody House, film nerd, and I've got Chris Jacobs back with me this week to discuss the latest episodes of Rings of Power, Andor, and Lower Decks.
Welcome, welcome. I'm glad I was able to make it. Oh, and you can hear my sidekick barking. She was completely quiet until I started talking.
There you go. My sidekick is just like, oh, you're going to be nerding out? I'm going to sleep.
Like, hint, hint by the door. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I like walks. Those things where you put me on a leash and take me
We go
outside.
outside. Yeah.
Has been nice, though. It has been nice lately.
In the mornings, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
it
nice.
does, it does warm up just a little bit in the evenings, but we're not our faces are not melting off. So
That's true. It's not T2, that T2 scene when I opened the door.
right. Or apparently bathing in hot ash like Galadriel did with the last Rings of Power episode.
So is that where we want to go first?
We can go ahead and do Rings. Um, Still enjoying it. Still trying to figure out where they are taking these characters. Um, the the volcano. I'm guessing that is going to be. I'm wondering if that's going to be Mount Doom. It shouldn't be, but again, if they're kind of reworking a little bit of the lore, that's okay. We'll see where they take it. Um, I just found it interesting. I'm still not sure where they're going with it.
Yeah. I'm not 100% where it's going. We did get the Helm's Deep thing, like you said. Um, which that was pretty cool. The layers of how it was set up, like they thought they were infiltrating them, and the elf threw them off guard, but then they thought they defeated everybody, but really the orcs sent in decoys.
Right, right.
And then
Yeah,
they thought all hope is lost, and then Gladriel and the Numenor show up and as the cavalry.
yeah. It was it was cool the way that they had that set up. Like you said, the kind of back and forth, like, oh, we beat them, we got this, and then uh, the orcs. I liked the decoys, the
Well,
human decoys.
when they battled, yeah, and I'm like, that's like, oh, that's not over. That was too easy. I was
Right.
like, something's up. But Jessica laughed because they've got the elf human kind of romance trying to brood in the show.
Yeah, that does feel a little forced, but I understand they're trying to cram a lot because we're only 2 episodes away. We have tomorrow's episode and then one more, and then
Is
that's
there only 2 more episodes for this season?
yeah, that's it.
Interesting.
So they are trying to cram a lot into
So
the first season.
why Jessica laughed was, like the son character is all like, "Oh, why is this elf here? Why are you talking to this elf?" Blah blah blah. And then he sees Gladriel, and he's like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Oh, I like that elf. She's kind of pretty."
Yeah,
That, or he was just impressed how badass she was too.
right.
He's like, "Oh,
But yeah, I'm there's a few things that just that it feels rushed. Um, Not really forced, but like they're trying to work it in, along with everything else. Um, so it's interesting. It's interesting.
it's kind of a contained episode though.
Yeah,
It didn't really go back and forth with all the other subplots going on. It was basically this story."
right.
I mean, it combined two sets of characters we're following, but it was pretty self-contained. Like it didn't go back and forth.
Right. Yeah,
Like
yeah. I didn't. We didn't see any Harfoots this week, did we?
no Harfoots or no dwarves and Elrond story.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But the volcano also showed the flooding, right? Like things are exploding and water's going everywhere.
Right. I think that's the signal that, you know. Sorry. Hang on. Let me.
Yeah, that's the issue with fur babies. We love them, but sometimes they want to keep talking. But yeah, Rings of Power is a really good show. I highly recommend it, especially if you like Lord of the Rings in any capacity, or you're just a fantasy nerd and want to check something out. Though I don't know any fantasy nerds that don't like Lord of the Rings. So, but there's probably people that don't like it. But if you love fantasy, you should check this out. High production value.
All right.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
It's rambling.
But yeah, I think they're signaling. I think that they set off the events that are going to um, kind of clear the land for Mordor, like in that region.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, I'm leaning heavily on that being Mount Doom that they set off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To lay waste to everything and kick off the resurgence of Sauron.
So speaking of Sauron, they capture I guess he's like a dark elf that's kind of leading these pack of orcs.
Adar, or I guess
Yeah.
Adar, and that means father in Orcish or Elvish or something like that.
So he references that he killed Sauron. So does
Yeah,
that mean
again, I'm trying to remember my lore, and he killed him in whatever form he was in.
right? So he's returned, and we're not sure in what form yet.
Right. Unless he is,
The stranger.
well, either the stranger or that's what I'm wondering. If that's not the return of Sauron. Because again, I don't think they're going to use Gandalf because he doesn't show up yet.
Right.
So I'm wondering if he's just if that's not going to be. They're trying to trick everyone.
Right.
There's
going to be some sort of ooh.
Yeah, like, oh, look at him. He's just a confused old man or older dude, and they're going to teach him to be good. He's going to turn into a wizard. But in reality, everything's going to be all sweet and rosy, and then it's going to turn around. He's going to be, because he deceived everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He is the Lucifer character.
Right.
So that would be pretty interesting.
So I didn't read the article, but I saw something, which I guess we've gotten reference of, the different rings are going to be made. Do you think any of these characters that we've been introduced are going to end up becoming part of the Nazgul?
That's what I'm wondering. If the king that we just were introduced to, if he's going to be the king of the ring race, the leader.
Yeah, I mean, you had an interesting theory of him being like the guy of the curse that are,
that didn't show up, but Now I'm trying to remember if they didn't show up to fight during the Great Alliance, or if they didn't show up to help Gondor in one of its earlier like
battles
in that, because I'm trying to, again, there's thousands of years time differences, and
Right.
I'm trying to remember where exactly this is in lore and how it would line up, and if they're kind of reworking things. So yeah, that's a good theory that he could be at Ringwraith and he just hasn't been corrupted yet
Mm-hmm.
by the ring, or he is, they're setting him up to be the king that didn't show up to help, and he's cursed. And was it the Dune? It's not the Dunedain, is it?
Mm.
I'm trying to remember what. The
Could
mount,
be. I don't know.
but anyway.
But yeah, it was an exciting, jam-packed episode.
Yeah, it is. It was like, I'm not saying I don't like the Galadriel character. I think it's an interesting take, but I'm wondering when she's gonna transition from kind of headstrong to the mellowed um, Yoda type character
She
that we
becomes
see. Well, I don't want to say mature. She's already a few thousand years old, but
these elves are late bloomers.
well, like you see them. Okay, they seem older, but it seems like in elf years they're still in their teens or early in their 20s.
Yeah.
So they're still, they got a lot of spunk, and then when we see them in Lord of the Rings, they've, it's kind of like they're around 50, or they're a little more mature, a little more world weary, and you know what I'm saying? There's a difference in character for sure, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing because they are younger. They're supposed to be younger in this, so I'm wondering when we're going to start seeing that transition into a little more reserved, like
for sure.
older Galadriel, and it's not oh well, she's too kick ass. It's like I'm curious to see how they're going to transition that, or if we're going to get to see that, like
if we'll see it in the series.
Yeah, like we kind of get to see her.
Well, I wonder if there's going to be a time shift between season 1 and season 2. I guess we'll see how season 1 ends.
Right. I keep waiting for a Balrog.
It's coming.
Yeah, I keep waiting for them to wake up that Balrog in the mine. I bet you that's going to be a cliffhanger, like a season.
This season finale cliffhanger, probably.
Yeah. They've already started filming season 2, so that's good. Over in the UK.
Cool.
Or they started it. I don't know if they're filming, but they've started production anyway.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
I'm
good. Lindsay, do you have anything you want? Okay. Nope. We're good.
No. So. Okay. Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm good with either. Nope. We're good.
All right. Well, let's just go by order then, and we'll talk Andor.
All right.
So yeah, this one, I guess we're getting a little bit more information. They're about to go on their little quest or mission they're supposed to be doing. Get a little bit more of Mon Mothma's family life.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's I like it. It definitely has a heist thriller feel to it.
Well,
Kind of
for
like an
sure.
Ocean's 11, like getting the team together, all the behind the scenes stuff, leading up to the big heist that we're gonna get to see.
Except that it seems that nobody on this cast actually likes or knows each other.
Yeah, feels like it feels very Dirty Dozen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Even to the point where no one trusts anyone. And then he's like, yeah, I'm here for the money, guys. I got paid to help you.
right. Yeah, that felt like a Han moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm in it for the money. I need it, you know. But I don't know. I like it. It's very dialogue-y, but I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, it's different. I like the corporate stuff going on.
Oh, with the Empire? Yeah.
The Empire and that corporation, uh, that corporate police dude that has to go back and live with his mom and what's going on with him.
His mom is the literal worst.
And she makes him blue milk with cereal. We actually see, like, blue milk being used.
Yeah, Lindsay said his mom was absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
He is
He's like,
Palpatine.
what?
Yeah,
Why didn't you come visit me when you were successful?
yeah. But yeah, I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. And I sent you that picture earlier. That if you go back, if you're going to rewatch the episode, I suggest watching for Easter eggs because I found a Shankara stone last night, as well as Indy's whip frozen in carbonite. If you watch for it, and I'm pretty sure there's more that I just missed. But
Do you think they did that just because they could and just like Easter eggs, or you think they're subliminally trying to get us pumped for Indy 5?
Oh, I'm sure both. I'm sure both. Because we'll start seeing more. Like they just introduced Hasbro's releasing some updated, like really articulated Indiana Jones figures from Raiders that look absolutely amazing, and a hint to Santa Claus. Wink, wink, but
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I'm looking at your picture, but yeah, I can kind of see it.
it was blurry. If you go back and pause it, you can see it a lot clearer. But there was actually two. I think there's another one kind of sitting behind it. But yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I guarantee you there's some more Easter eggs. But like you said, Cody, they're probably pumping us up for Indy. That's going to come out this next year, and then on top of just because they can,
Yeah, they can, because not only are they now both Disney franchises, but they're still Lucasfilm properties, so
they've been
it's
Disney franchises since the '80s. I know a lot of people are like, but yeah, come on, man. Lucas collabed with Disney back in the mid '80s with Star Tours and the Indy ride and all that. So that was set up. That was
he always wanted to have like a Disney like that's what he wanted his stuff to be like, was like he wanted that success.
Well, he grew up, they grew up in California, and he was a Disney kid back in the day, like everybody else was, because you could afford it. And and his family went to Disney World a lot, or Disneyland, and I'm pretty sure that when he got that success and was able to do it, because I think he was a low key fan, and like you said, he's always wanted that theme park feel to it. So I can see why he jumped at it, and that's back when Disney wasn't fully developed into Palpatine yet. That's back when Disney was Senator Palpatine. and before they went full Emperor Palpatine, like dark side. So
Before they just basically monopolized entertainment.
pretty much, and so I can see, I can understand. A lot of people are like, "Why'd you do it?" But it was a different time, and you know, so I can totally see it. But I know he's probably regretting that sale to Disney, and I think he's kind of hinted at it pretty
I
heavily.
think he has a little bit, but I think he was very disappointed and heartbroken by the reaction that people gave to the prequels.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think he was like, screw it. You guys don't like me or care what I have to say, then I'll give Star Wars away to somebody else to deal with.
yeah, we did. The fans did that. They pulled a episode one on they pulled a Jake Lloyd and an Ahmad Best on him, and just ripped apart everything he did. Uh, from then on, before that he was God, but right after episode one came out, he was shunned, and
Well, I mean, I think it started with the re-releases of the originals, right? With the special
yeah,
editions.
I can see that. But you know what? Those didn't bother me because I got to rewatch them in theaters, and
Yeah.
like the generation before me got to. Now, granted, they got to experience the originals and blah blah blah, but changes and all, just getting to see them on the big screen again was a treat. I mean, that was wonderful. So
They were fine when they first came out. I just don't like that you don't have the option to have either version.
yeah, you definitely need the option. Like they are kind of in the wrong for that.
Because there's a generation of people who've never seen the original versions of those movies.
Uh, I
You
think my
know?
kids, no, our kids probably haven't watched the uncut versions of Star Wars, like the unspecialized editions. So I know I own them. I just don't think we watched them. Should break out the
So,
VHS.
so there are issues, but it was his franchise, it was his movies, and I don't hate the Disney sequels like some fans do. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Rise of Skywalker, but for better or worse, those prequels are George Lucas through and through, whether you love them or hate them.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, I'm not hating this. I like this show, and for the most part, I've enjoyed the Star Wars shows.
yeah. I'm definitely enjoying them.
So I think there's been good and bad. I think there's an oversaturation probably of it right now. But I think TV is a good place. I'll say it again. I think that's where the franchise needs to be right now. I don't think we need more Star Wars movies.
Right, and I can say the same about Star Trek.
Well, do you want to go on to Lower Decks then? Anything else about Andor or Star Wars?
Um, no, it's just great seeing a grown-up Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's Star Wars for grown-ups. It's like a dad Star Wars show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cuz it's just like a dad's show but in space,
Yeah,
you know? But yeah, it's interesting, and not a lot really happened this episode, but that's okay.
right. Yeah, it's just building up. I keep forgetting we only have so many episodes of this. Like, I'm like, man, this is really good, but I'm pretty sure the big heist is going to be, the end of the show. So
Probably, but Lord, I think it's got quite a few more episodes. So what are they
oh,
gonna
does
do?
it? Oh, okay, my bad. I thought it was. I only Let's see. We're what, 5?
We're 5 episodes in.
Okay, so it's gonna have like 10. Right? I know one
Probably.
was only gonna have like 6 or 7. There's gonna be like a really short series, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I guess we'll see. But Lower Decks, kind of a standalone episode, and also had to refresh your mind from season 1.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
I was like, oh,
The
right,
Birdman.
that did happen. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the I don't know. I thought it was great. She was such a hole too, man. Like you
Yeah.
thought she was gonna redeem herself, and then at the end, she's like, no.
Nope. Still shitty.
All their
Fundamentally awful.
yeah. It just shows how evil, like how off their AI is. Like,
Well, especially at the end, right? With the whole
yeah,
where
we
she
got
ends
Jeffrey
up. I'm
Combs.
like, that's a lot of AIs that have megalomaniac personality.
And I
But
love that.
probably
Jeffrey
because
Combs-
the people that created them were megalomaniacs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was great.
I also felt like it was kind of like making fun of like the Avatar a little bit with its plot in this episode.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this seems very.
Just jump right into like a previously uncontacted species of organics.
And and the whole interspecies erotica thing going on. That was
Yeah.
nuts.
But I
I
mean, it
did.
was also funny where they're like, "Oh, he's dying," and she's like, "No, come on, dude, that's just a bite. Come on,
Yeah.
here, it's science."
Man, yeah, she was just such a horrible personality of a robot.
Never
But,
trust those robots, man. You never know what they're gonna do.
have you seen the next gen? You haven't gotten to the next gen episode yet, where they feature the X9 or whatever they are, the peanut
I
hamper.
don't think so. If I've seen it before, it was a long time ago.
Okay, you'll probably work your way to it. It's pretty
I
silly.
have not watched any Deep Space Nine or Next Gen this week.
Well, you need to fix that.
Well, I'll try, but it's October, so
Right, I get it. I get it. We did, like I said earlier, we watched Hellraiser, and we need to watch
That's so weird.
Nightmare.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, man, I could really. Where do I want to go with it? There were not as many Easter eggs, unless I missed them this week.
No, I think it's just in that tradition of we're gonna do a standalone kind of silly episode.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all silly, but like this one didn't feature any of the main characters really. They're just kind of there at the beginning and end of the episode.
I like what they did with the title though. Instead of having a regular title, it just shows her floating in space forever. Like, oh yeah, surely somebody will pick me up. And then she just.
Well, she also turned on her Wilson friend she made. Like, oh, sorry, I'm out.
Right.
It's like Tom Hanks wouldn't have done that to Wilson.
Never.
Yeah, I thought that was Christian Skull for a minute.
It's not somebody else that I look at.
No, it did sound like someone's voice I've heard before, but apparently she's just a voice actress that's done a lot of voice work.
I was thinking Louise from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
She has a little bit of that, but she also has, like, she's really kind of snotty in that way that Kaylee, what's her name, is in The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's who I thought it was. Yeah, I don't know her last name. That's who I thought it was at first, but I looked it up, and she's like Cody said, she's a voice actor. She's just been in a bunch of things we've heard.
Yeah, because I thought it was. I thought it was like either the Kristen Scholl or a Sarah Silverman, but then I was like, oh nope.
Yeah, she does. She does have a little bit of Sarah.
Then Big Bang Theory, she's busy being Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was her.
Yeah, she's on the animated series. Which, if you haven't watched that show, I highly recommend it. But very inappropriate, so it's not a kid show in any way.
I need to finish Peacemaker, which I
Oh,
guess
you guys haven't finished Peacemaker? It's so good.
we were close, but we didn't. Yeah, we didn't get around to it. We need to now since it's probably not going to get another.
Yeah, I think it's getting a second season.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay, I thought they went through there and just axed everything, like canceled.
No, they haven't axed everything. They have mostly axed, strangely, their animated and kids content. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. It's weird. I don't want to get on a Warner Brothers merger conversation. But anything else about Lower Decks or Star Trek in general?
Nope, just another great episode. I mean, hilarious, laugh out loud moments. Again, especially with the Birdman robot love that they had going on there for a little bit.
It
Yeah,
does feel like that filler episode where they're like, we wanted to give the cast a break, so we just recorded just like the beginning and the end with the main cast. The rest of this is that lady we can get sometimes to be a tiny even robot.
Yeah.
sometimes those episodes are the best because it's like, oh, we're gonna weave into just this weird standalone story.
Right.
I think even the audience needs a break sometimes, even if you're like rooting for your favorite character for things to get better for them or worse or whatever. It's nice to have that one where it's really low stakes emotionally. Like we're all kind of rooting against Peanut Hamper from the beginning.
That name too cracks me up.
Yeah.
Peanut Hamper.
Doesn't the other robot he tells me that's a mathematically perfect name?
Yeah.
I did like at the end where they all are just maniacally laughing because, what else do you do when you're
Like
a
a bunch of
megalomaniac?
Yeah.
Well, I love that they got Jeffrey Combs back,
There you go, yeah.
even just for that little spot.
Well, all right. I guess that's this week. We got new episodes of each show, I think, next week. Rings of Power tomorrow. Andor Wednesday. Lower Decks Thursdays.
Right. And we have Friday night. We've got Hellraiser and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Coming up, and then Saturday morning, which I will not be here for, but you will be here for
Prometheus.
Prometheus, yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I think that's it. Anything Sunday?
That is it for this week.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well then. Well, cool.
And I believe Nick is not going to be with us this week, right? He's out of town.
I think so. I think that was the gist of it.
Yeah. Well,
So
I hope he has a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, especially since you don't have to work.
Yard work. So.
Oh well, that's not so bad.
No, it feels good out. It feels nice.
Yeah, it's a good day to do yard work.
The way the sun is, like for a large majority of the day, the front yard just sits in the shade, and so does the backyard. So, I mean, it gets a little bit of sun, but since the time's changing and everything, it's been really nice.
Yeah. It's been staying dark till like pretty late in the morning.
Yeah. So 7:15.
7-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow to talk about some spooky movies.
All right. Sounds good.
And
To me.
yeah, just glad we got all this awesome stuff to talk about and watch.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you like this, subscribe or hit the like button. And if you choose to comment, please be kind and be kind to anyone else who comments.
Please.
Don't be an asshole.
All right.